I didn't realize how ignorant some people were until I made that video about Louis Rossmann being wrong about Waterfox yesterday. It turns out there's a whole lot of people that are pretty leftist in their politics that either don't realize it or don't realize how indoctrinated they actually are, that really don't like it whenever you challenge their preconceived notions that they've built their entire worldview on. Some of the owns that these people have attempted to drop on me include... what is the definition of woke? Nobody actually knows what woke means. Yeah, people know what woke means, and you would know what woke means too if you actually took the time to look it up. There's no shortage of YouTube videos where people define what woke means. You can look it up yourself. For an excellent, long, but excellent primer on that topic, you can look up Short Fat Otaku, Dev. He's got a video where he explains what is the definition of woke. What exactly does woke mean? I believe is the exact title. So if you wanted to know the answer to that, you could look it up for yourself, but instead you have to pretend like, oh, these people don't actually know what they mean when they say woke. They don't know what that is. It's just something they parrot because they're stupid. No, you're the one who's stupid. If you want to know what it means, you could go look it up, but showing up on my video going, what did woke mean, makes you look incredibly dumb, especially since the video has in the title, wokeness is a red herring. Wokeness was not the subject of the video. Louis Rossmann saying a bunch of crap in his comment about wokeness had nothing to do with anything. And that was the whole point, is that wokeness was not relevant to what was going on. It was entirely that the LibreWolf developers said they hate you. If you disagree with them, they don't want you around and they hate you. Now, keep in mind, it only takes one software update for a piece of software to change its behavior. So, let's just put it this way. I have a computer, okay? I got a bunch of computers. But let's pretend I'm holding a computer in my hand, right? This computer is the computer I have all my pictures stored on or whatever, right? It doesn't matter, but it's important to me. The contents are important to me. Maybe I run backups, maybe I don't. I run LibreWolf on this computer, and LibreWolf doesn't like people like me because I post to right-wing forums in their perception. 4chan's not a right-wing forum, and I don't really post there anymore because they've made it really hard. But, you know, let's say you visit 4chan a lot, and the LibreWolf developers in an update added some kind of logic that if you go to certain websites with a certain frequency, that they'll nuke your entire home directory. Let's suppose that this happened. Now, obviously, it would be big news. It'd be a real big deal if someone found out that that was something that was happening. But let's suppose it put it in the installer, but not in the actual code, right? Just an assumption here. Let's just say they found some way to like drop it in on the sly so that you'd have to disassemble the actual executable. You couldn't go back to the code and hold anyone directly responsible. Oh, we got hacked. That wasn't us. Whatever. We're throwing all that out. The bottom line is, you have beliefs that are different from the LibreWolf developers who say that they hate people like you and they don't want you to be able to do anything, that agree with Mozilla's we need more than deplatforming. You have those people and they can put arbitrary code on your computer that has all your important data on it. It would not surprise me if that happened. Would it surprise you? And you know what? If it happens to a small enough number of people, say it was pretty precisely targeted to what they would assume certain kinds of people would do. If it was targeted the right way, they could claim that, oh, that wasn't us, you must have gotten hacked by something else. Plausible deniability. But this is my point. You can't trust. You have to, trust has to start somewhere, okay? You can't audit every line of code. You can't audit big open source projects. You just can't. As one single person, there is no way for you to audit everything. So that means you are establishing your own personal chain of trust somewhere. And that chain of trust, where does it come from? At some point, you really are just having faith, much like a person who is religious has faith that God won't screw him over. You are having faith that the people that you're involved with aren't going to do anything bad. You cannot audit everything and know for a fact that everything on your computer, the potentially billions of lines of code and all of the encrypted or whatever microcode crap, you cannot know that there's not something malicious in there. So you have no choice but to use other heuristics to figure it out. One of those heuristics is, who do I trust to put code on my computer? And in doing this, we have these organizations that supposedly can be held accountable in some way if they do something bad. But if nothing else, we just have these projects, and Firefox has these forks: LibreWolf, Waterfox, Zen Browser, Florp, which needs a new name. There's a ton of them, but these various projects, we put our trust in them that they won't do something nefarious. We put our trust in Mozilla not to do something nefarious, and then Mozilla started adding privacy-preserving ad crap and all of this suggested garbage to Firefox. They made it toggleable, but they kept on, oopsie-doodle, we accidentally turned some things back on over time. In other news, Google, we trusted that Chrome would still give us all this freedom, right? Google Chrome, we could still install uBlock Origin. Well, now Google Chrome has turned off Manifest v2 for most people, so uBlock Origin on all these computers suddenly goes away. I run a computer repair shop, and I put uBlock Origin on computers, and guess what's happened? As soon as Google Chrome started banning, let's call it what it is, banning broad spectrum content blockers like uBlock Origin, I started having customers coming in with scammer problems. This is literally a security issue for people. I have people coming directly to me with problems with, various scammer things because this ad blocker that was stopping all the scam ads from getting to them is now turned off because of Google, the biggest ad company in the world, deciding that ad blockers hurt their business, and so finding some way to do it to get rid of that problem. And uBlock Origin Lite breaks a bunch of websites. So, yeah, the whole Manifest v3 thing. You trusted Google. You shouldn't have trusted Google. So you run to Brave. Do you trust Brave? Probably more than Google. And that's the thing. Brave is a fine Chromium-based browser. I've used it myself. I actually did use it as my main browser for a while. By a while, I mean like maybe half a year to a year. But ultimately, I prefer Firefox due to the Chromium monoculture. Anyway, I don't want to ramble too much in the wrong direction. The entire point is, if you have, let's say, 8 browser forks of Firefox, just as an assumption here, let's say there's 8 of them, and the Firefox proper has said they really hate you, and they're going to shove ad stuff in, and they're taking away the thing where they say they don't abuse your data or whatever, which Louis Rossmann made a video about, and a whole bunch of other people too. So that's the main Firefox gone. You can't trust them because they'll screw you over. They have made it clear they're fine with it for years. So you jump ship to LibreWolf because everybody touts that because, LibreWolf is the most privacy-centric blah, blah, blah version of these browsers. Except then LibreWolf, when Brian Lunduke, I understand that he is a controversial figure to some. He really kind of shouldn't be. He does say some things that I disagree with. He does say some things that are poorly researched or stupid. But there's a big difference between saying something dumb and showing up and saying, can I ask some questions of the project? Now, even if you don't like him, even if you disagree with him, your project should at least be willing to answer some stupid questions from some journalist, even if you don't like them. You can't just cherry pick the people that talk about you. So you should be willing, especially as a privacy-focused, open source, we maximize your freedom browser project, you should be willing to talk to anyone about it, to get the word out, to let people know that you're trustworthy, and so on. Because people have to choose who to trust based on factors that they see in their orbit. And by saying, no, we're just going to ban you, that's not a good look. Even if it's someone you don't like, the guy still does journalism. The guy, maybe he's not the greatest in some ways. I'm not saying he is or isn't, but maybe some people don't like him. But the bottom line is, he's not coming to you going, hey, I'm like Kotaku in the 2010s, and I'm writing a hit piece about your company. Would you like to contribute to my hit piece where I'm only going to talk trash about you, and I'll skew anything that you say in the negative? At least Brian Lunduke does post the things that people say to him verbatim so I can see what they said. At least he puts the information out there as it was presented to him and doesn't twist it like mainstream media twists a lot of things, like a whole lot of people have twisted a whole lot of things for a long time. At least he's that degree of honest. He may not be entirely, well-researched in some issues. He may say some stupid things from time to time, have some dumb takes. I've had a few dumb takes myself. Everybody does. But the bottom line is, why am I supposed to trust you if a particular guy that I do at least listen to shows up and says, hey, I'd just like to ask some questions, and just on the basis of his name, you ban him? And it's not like the guy's Richard Spencer. It's friggin' Brian Lundu. You know, that's kind of a problem for me. And when you go beyond that to say things like, oh yeah, we hate these people, well, then I have a really big problem with that. You know, it's one thing if you ban the guy from your stupid matrix or whatever. It's another thing if you're just going out of your way to say that you hate certain people or certain kinds of people or whatever. So if I have a project like Waterfox, which has red flags like being only on Mastodon and Blue Sky and Reddit, which are all known to be these hard left sort of political, you know, what do you call it, social sites, but they're strongholds of leftism and leftist bent ideology, but not on X, not on Facebook. They don't have social presence there. Well, those red flags, I don't immediately judge just based on that, but it is a red flag that they're only on those. It does show an ideological bent to Waterfox, and I am reconsidering Waterfox just on that basis. They don't have a direct way to contact them. I could go to these sites, but I'm not on these sites because these sites have a known degree of toxicity and bias and are very ban happy of people that disagree with them. So I can't really go there and have an honest conversation with these people since they leave no avenue for me to contact them directly other than making a shitty GitHub issue, which is just not good form, to ask this question, hey, is your project apolitical or not? Then I do have to assume that Waterfox may also be tainted, and I may have to claw back my recommendation of that. So now we're left with not that many other options. I'm going to look into Zen Browser. I'm going to look into Florp, the worst named browser on the planet. Even the guy who recommends it in every friggin' comment section I have agrees that the name is the worst thing ever. You know, I'm going to look into as many of these Firefox fork browsers as I can and try to pick one that's not crap. Waterfox has served me well, and Waterfox, at least to their credit on their social medias, do not appear to have engaged in any sort of political conversation, but they have also chosen to only be present on leftist, hard leftist social media platforms. So that is a red flag to me. That's a heuristic that tells me Waterfox could at least potentially have some sort of risk to it, because I'm allowing the people who make Waterfox, well, really, there's one person who's sort of the guy, but I'm allowing that person or group of people to run arbitrary code on my computer with user-level privileges. And I have a little bit of a problem with doing that and trusting these people when I see red flags like this. I have to go on heuristics because it's not like they're just going to outright say, yeah, we hate you and blah, 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 the way that the LibreWolf people said they hate certain people. They haven't done that, but I have to make guesses based on what people do. And people's actions are always louder than their words. They always make more sense than their words. So when people come out here and they're screeching about, you know, me calling out LibreWolf for this thing, and Lunduk obviously originated it, and then calling out Louis Rossmann for being like, oh, I don't care about the politics of my project that runs arbitrary code on my computer. Yeah, y'all are stupid. I'm sorry that this really is a stupid take. Get over yourselves. So the camera says I've been ranting for 13 minutes straight. I have a bad habit of going off on these tangents, but it is related. This is sort of a follow-up to yesterday's video. Another thing, if you ask me questions like, what is the woke right? Well, there isn't one. It's kind of like applying snowflake to people on the right. The thing is, special snowflake describes a type of person who is very easily thrown into a tantrum by simply being exposed to something that disagrees with them or that they just happen to not like. And this speaks to a lack of robustness, a lack of maturity, a lack of really becoming an adult properly in the first place. So these people, because they are unable to cope with something so simple as, I disagree with you, because that sets them off into a friggin' tantrum, and they go off on a cancel culture mob posse gather up, you know, they completely go ballistic, they lose it, they can't handle someone who disagrees with them publicly. Oh, how dare you? And they've got to hurt those people as hard as they possibly can, because that's how immature they are. You know, these people trying to then assign special snowflake to people on the right who have legitimate concerns and express them. No, it's not going to work. The thing is, special snowflake, it's supposed to be for people who are entitled little pricks who think that they should always get their way. And the truth of the matter is that can be on any side, but it has been, as in the 2010s, when all of the real, SJW, feminist, woke, whatever you want to call it, drama was really going down hard. Back in the 2010s, the special snowflakes were all leftists. They were all college age, college educated, worthless paper, good way to go into debt for the rest of your life, educated, mostly liberal arts degree. There's a stereotype that goes with it, and that stereotype is leftist. And stereotypes exist not because they're false, but because they do work in a general sense. And, of course, there are exceptions. But, in general, applying a skewed insult like snowflake that really only applies to this particular brand of leftist that absolutely loses it when the worldview is challenged in the slightest, to people who have more robust reactions and who say, what you're doing is bad, you did a bad thing. Oh, what's the matter? You crying, little snowflake? Doesn't really land. So the same thing with the woke right. Woke, yes, it's become an insult because woke is cancer. Woke is bad. Woke expresses similar behavior to the special snowflake. But it's special snowflakes that have taken a lot of steroids and cocaine. It's this sort of like ultra snowflake thing going on where they run around with signs going, yeah, we're snowflakes and guess what? Winter is coming. We totally aren't trying to turn around this insult and failing. It doesn't work. You can't say woke right because woke describes a phenomenon that is purely leftist. It describes a particular kind of being that doesn't exist outside of leftism. Even centrists, there's no woke center, there's no woke right. It's only leftists that can be woke because woke describes a leftist ideology. Same thing with snowflake. And this kind of attempt at insult reversal really doesn't work. It's kind of pathetic. And whenever I see it, I just ban them because honestly, fuck you. If you're going to do that, fuck you. I don't care. You can call me a snowflake all day long. I've heard it all. You can call out my weight. You can call out my lack of hair. You can call out my age. You can call me, all the insults that you've had thrown at you. Oh, I'm going to throw the insult back and that's totally going to put me on top. I'm bleeding, thus making me the victor. I don't care. I'm really not affected. You can go fuck yourself. Anyway. Returning the insults around doesn't work. Another thing that I have seen, people like to go into the comments and they like to write these long screed leftist meme. The leftist meme thing, by the way, really just refers to writing a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't really say anything of value. But you write a wall of text of garbage because you can't just express your ideas in a few sentences. That's what a leftist meme is. It's this thing where the right can just express something in 4 characters with a picture, and then the left is like, I have to write 30 paragraphs around the reaction duck or whatever. But yeah, they'll go into my comments and they'll say some leftist meme crap about, you don't know what right is, you don't know what left is, you can't define this, you don't know what you're talking about, you're an idiot, this guy is cringe. Yeah, you're all banned too, because fuck you. Because it's my channel, you can make a video calling me cringe, because guess what? If you make a video calling me cringe, you're going to drive people to this channel, I'll get more subscribers. Please make a video calling me cringe. I would love for you to make a video calling me cringe. Do it. See what happens. The other thing that came up is people, especially European people, saying, how can you say that the left has gone farther left, that everything's gone farther left? The truth is that the right has gone farther right, and the left has gone farther right, and that the American left is actually right wing. This is a lie. This is some Europore who doesn't know what they're talking about, talking trash about America when they don't live in America, they don't know anything about America. I'm going to kill the ISO pale lady in my phone. You get the idea. These people, they have no clue, but they go run around going, oh yeah, the American everything has shifted further right. Well, no, you don't know what right is, apparently. What's happened is we've had a flip-flop between the Democrats of the 80s and 90s and the Democrats of today and the Republicans of the 80s and 90s. See, back in the 80s and 90s, the Republicans were all these hardcore conservative Christian lunatics that ran around trying to force everybody to conform to their ideological notions of morality. They tried to censor music. They tried to censor video games. They tried to censor everything. They tried to get laws codified that basically put censorship based on their misguided, in a lot of cases, Christian moralities, misinformed, I might even say. We don't know how to read the Bible, but we're going to put laws in place anyway. This place is totally a theocracy. It's a Christian nation, you guys. Now we have the Blue Church, a non-theistic religion that the Democrats adhere to, and they're trying to do the same thing, except on crack. They're trying not just to censor what you can say, but also they've put people in prison. They've put people in jail and prison and left them there for years without a trial in violation of the Constitution just because some shit happened on January 6th. I mean, we're talking about, look at all the stuff that's been uncovered. We've literally had political prisoners in this country. We've had the entire justice system weaponized against people who disagree ideologically. This is cancel culture on a government level. So you take the violence and the anger and the destruction of a cancel culture mob coming after a certain person and attempting to get them to not be able to live a life anymore. But then you take that and you grow it into government. Now you have the police power of government, the investigatory power of government. At the end of the day, all laws are enforced with a bullet in the back of your head. So you have the police power of government now engaging in cancel culture. This is a little bit of a problem in a country that's supposed to have a Bill of Rights. You're going to tell me in one breath that Hitler was right-wing, not left-wing. But then when the United States government is dragging quite far into the same direction Hitler was, just instead of Jews, it's right-wingers. The computer deserved it, I swear to God. Instead of Jews, it's right-wingers that are getting the bullet, that are getting thrown in jail, because of what they are. You get the idea. They pushed in the Hitler direction, and you're gonna say that everything's moving right, but then these Democrats are being violent. Okay, you don't realize how much of a self-own this really is, do you? Like you're saying that America moved right when Democrats are in power and pulling things that you say are right-wing, but the Democrats, the left-wing. The funny thing is the right wing's more left wing now than they've ever been, and the left is even more left. You can be violent and be on the left, and the truth is that Nazis were more left wing than right wing. You might say that they were right wing, but the thing is, in practice, their actions were left wing. You can go look that up on the internet too. Anyway, I'm running out of time, but that's just a few reactions to the dumbest comments on the planet that I got, and some of the people not understanding the basic notion that if you have 8 options and 2 or 3 of the options say that they hate you, and the other options like we just want to make a good browser, we don't care. Why would you pick the ones that hate you? And that's really what it boils down to. I'm going to get off of here. I've got actual work to do. This laptop right here, I've got to actually do something to it. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that crap. And don't let people run arbitrary code on your computer that say that they hate you and want you dead. Take it easy.